On the regulatory side as well as on the liquidity side, RBI has come up with a very, very comprehensive package which was on the expected line, if not more. We need to ensure that we don't get into recession. That's the thing. Now, as long as we are growing, that's fine. All three put together, that's recession crisis and post-Lehman and 2013, all three put together won't come close to the enormity of the crisis which we are in at this point of time.
Hello and welcome to India Podcast. I am Anku Goel. Amid the prevailing uncertainty in the country during the 21-day lockdown period, a sigh of relief was felt in the markets today when Reserve Bank of India Governor announced a 75 basis point cut in the repo rate, bringing it to 4%, and 90 basis point cut in the reverse repo rate. Rare but true, a 10 a.m. market press conference was held where Reserve Bank of India Governor took a plunge to announce a slew of relief packages which ranged from the regulatory reliefs to liquidity and moratorium for NPA classification and interest payment, further assuring more steps to be taken if needed. Was that enough or will require more? To understand it better, I have with me one of our veteran and most celebrated financial journalists, Tamal Bandhopadhyay. Having seen through the banking space for at least 25 years now, he finds that the current COVID-19 outbreak is the most unprecedented and unseen event for the economy. Listen in. So thank you so much, Tamal, for again speaking with our listeners at India Podcast. My first question today is RBI announcement has almost ticked into all the checklists that was expected from banks at this point in time. How do you look at the RBI press that has been announced today?
No, I think it's a very comprehensive announcement, comprehensive package. All of us have been waiting for it. So finally, Reserve Bank of India joined the League of Global Central Bankers. There are two critical issues at this point of time. One is take care of the impact of COVID-19 on the Indian economy to lessen to the extent it's possible. So which means to ensure credit flow to the people who need money. That's one point. And second is the taking care of the systemic stability at this point of time. The systemic stability includes actually primarily addressing the skewed liquidity pull, what we have seen. We had too much of liquidity we have been talking about in trillions, but the liquidity was not evenly distributed among various banks. So I think RBI has come out with an extremely comprehensive package at this point of time. Repo rate, policy rate and CRR are now historic low. CRR at 3% and repo rate is 4.4, so both are historic low. And then there are multiple other measures that RBI has taken, targeted repo, which will be sector specific. The banks can take money and then, it's actually get this money can flow into the corporate bond market, the CPs, the bike and CPs and series, which have been in much distress of late. The reputed and stable CPs and series, the spread was going up and up in the past few weeks. I think that will take care of to a large extent. Then also Reserve Bank of India said that you can dip into your FLR and then get extra money through the MSF window. So all these and plus the CRR cut that will address the liquidity shortage. 3.7 trillion money technically can flow, and as I said, it can be distributed among banks, will not be captured by only certain banks. That's one part, and then there's a lot of regulatory measures, primarily giving a 3-month window for the borrowers. If they are not able to pay, they don't need to pay, and the banks will not classify them as NPAs, so which means banks do not need to. There is no question of terming them as defaulter and providing for it, so on and so forth. So both on the regulatory side as well as on the liquidity side, RBI has come up with a very, very comprehensive package which was on the expected line, if not more. And the most critical part, forward-looking statement, which essentially says that, look, we have done this much, but hang on, we will continue to do if it's required, and it's spoken about both conventional and unconventional steps.
So in that positive note also, there is a kind of mention of the GDP. There is uncertainty stated there. It is a negative outlook that has been pronounced there. So how do you want to look into the forward uncertain negative outlook statement that has been made?
I don't think at this point of time anybody is talking about fiscal deficit and growth, because it's given that fiscal deficit will widen. It's 3.5%. It will be sacrosanct. Similarly, growth in quarter four will definitely go down. So there is no question on that. I think we need to ensure that we don't get into recession. That's the thing. Now, as long as we are growing, that's fine. Whether it's less than 5%, it's less than 4%, it's less than 3%, anything is good. So I don't think anybody is now talking about lower growth or higher fiscal deficit. That it's a time to stay afloat and keep the it on against the unprecedented crisis, open the credit flow to the sectors which require, and most importantly, keep the markets and the financial sector stability intact, which Reserve Bank of India has addressed, and it says that it will continue to take measures, both conventional and unconventional, do whatever it needs to be done. I'm saying this 3-month window, that is, you can presume that we can safely presume that 3 months can be extended to 6 months if it's required.
The extension from 3 months to 6 months, but with the LTRO option.
It can. Yeah, there is an option. If the lockdown can be extended beyond 21 days, it can go into another 21 days or so. And if that requires pain which the unorganized sector is started already feeling, maybe the organized sector also will spill over. So obviously, RBI may have to. So RBI has kept all the options open. So in sum, measures are very important, and it whatever is required, RBI has done. And equally important, if not more, is the forward guidance that it will continue to do whatever needs to be done. I think it's a very, very reassuring statement. Yeah.
So with the LTRO, RBI has been pushing very strongly. Again, a 1 lakh crore auction has been announced. How do you see the demand coming by? Because the last time they had been clearly saying there's not much demand. So will this really help in the liquidity propelling which they are intending to do amongst banks?
No, there are two things. One is this LTRO RBI is doing, and second is now they have introduced TLTRO. TLTRO is a targeted lending, which means you take the money, but you distribute the money to buy CPs and CDs and help NBFCs and all. It's a very, very, it's the second stage from LTRO to TLTRO, which European Central Bank also had done it. Now, to avail of the LTRO facility, you need to have extra SLR. The problem is, those who needed the money, they did not have the extra SLR. They don't have the extra SLR. And the guys who have extra SLR, they probably don't need the money. If you see the Indian banking system at this point of time, because of the false apprehensions about the quality of certain private banks or most private banks, the deposit flow is primarily into the public sector banks. Even though they are not much of lending, because I think 10 plus 3, 13 of them busy into the consolidation, and then few of them under PCR, so on and so forth, but they have the money. And they have also the additional SLR. So if you want to take the money through the LTRO window, you need extra SLR, which the banks which actually needed liquidity, they don't have the money. So that's the problem. That's the problem, as I've been saying, that there has been liquidity in the system, but the liquidity is very skewed. It's not evenly distributed. But now RBI, by announcing TLTRO, targeted this thing, and raising or dropping the 3 things it has been done to address this. One is the TLTRO, which is a targeted lending. Second is slashing the reverse repo by a higher margin by 90 basis points, so that it will discourage banks to park money. They will get less. And third is allowing banks to dip into their SLR further and take money from the NSFs. So these 3 things combination will address the liquidity scenario.
Has RBI delayed in taking these decisions, especially TLTRO? Do you think it could have taken it a month back and kind of maintained the system in more stable condition as banks have been fearing for now?
Well, short answer is better late than never. I am one of them who have been pushing for early action. I think, if you remember, I wrote a week back saying that MPC meeting should be advanced and rate cut should come. We should not wait for 3rd April. It has happened. It should have happened even earlier. Probably yes. Probably RBI was waiting, watching, and seeing other central banks globally what they are doing and working on the package. So it has come.
One question is, market has not quite immediately cheered it because expectation of rate cut was nearly 150 BPS. So how do you look at this 75 BPS working in favor for at least the market and the stocks? Because he's categorically stated, let not the stock impact be looked at the condition of the banks. So it's kind of first time the RBI governor hinting towards the market directly or indirectly during a press conference held during the market hours.
The market it's very difficult to satisfy market. If you see also globally when the US have been taken the market reaction. So it's not market I think should take heart from the fact both what RBI has done and what RBI has promised to do. If after this market disappointed, I think I can't say something wrong with the market, but market should contain its expectations because it's a very comprehensive policy, and more important than today's measure is the forward-looking statement. So market, what else can you offer at this point of time? You have cut the CRR also. No? It's not only the rate cut. So rate cut has been combined. So don't see in isolation 75 basis point rate cut. You have to see 75 basis point rate cut, 1 percentage point cut in CRR, and other measures for liquidity. 3 of them, LTRO, then you can dip into TLTRO, targeted lending, targeted repo. Second is the dipping into your SLR and getting money through the MSF window. And of course, third is the reverse repo rate cutting sharp and discouraging people to keep money with RBI instead of giving it as a credit. So you see it as a comprehensive package. I don't think market could have asked for more at this point of time.
Understand. And as a last question, this unprecedented situation we all are stuck in globally, COVID-19 outbreak is something people don't know how to deal with. You have been there for like decades now. Have you ever come across this kind of situation for the financial market and economy at large? And dealing with such an unprecedented situation in life?
No. If you see that my exposure to the market is about now 25 years. So what you have seen in 97, 98 East Asian crisis, and then we have seen 2008-9 Lehman crisis, and then we have seen of course 2013 our current account deficit and rupee under pressure. I have not witnessed as a financial sector journalist the 1991 economic liberalization and the pressure the country's balance sheet has undergone. So I think this is much bigger. All three put together, that's East Asian crisis and post-Lehman and 2013, all three put together won't come close to the enormity of the crisis which we are in at this point of time.
Thank you so much, Tamal, for explaining the entire thing and helping us understand the RBI package better. Thank you.
Thank you.
RBI has done it right, but uncertainty about the crisis continues. Whether the lockdown will stay for 21 days or continue further will decide the next course of action by Reserve Bank of India. This might be rare that the growth and fiscal numbers have been considered secondary by the regulatory in its MPC meet, and health and stabilizing market have held the priority. With that, we wish India and the world can fight back strong. Stay safe and stay indoors.